afternoon, everybody, and welcome to Live at 4. Danica is here once again. Doesn't it feel great outside?
It really does. In comparison, certainly.
Yeah, with the sunshine, it feels mild, and it's going to get even warmer from here.
It's going to be it's shorts weather by the weekend.
Mark's bringing the warm weather back with him. He's on his way back today,
Yep.
and he'll be back on Monday. Here's what's making news on this Thursday. UW hospital nurses say they're bringing their union back after a state law ended collective bargaining for state employees.
Senate leaders on Capitol Hill make their first public comments on impeachment after last night's House vote.
And as the year comes to a close, what State Assembly Speaker Robin Vos wants to see done with prescription drug prices in 2020.
Let's take a look outside, though. At that beautiful day Susan was just mentioning, there is a thin layer of ice, though, still on the lake, gleaming under that sunshine. The weather words today: mild and getting milder. We certainly alluded to it, but let's send it over right now to Dave Caulfield out on the weather patio. Dave, you're not breaking out the shorts quite yet, are you?
Not just yet, but maybe over the next couple of days, Danica and Susan, because temperatures in the 30s today will be in the 40s for a pretty prolonged stretch into the weekend and leading up to Christmas Day. You saw there a look at the WISC-TV Skycam and those sunny skies that have been around all day, helping those temperatures get into the mid-30s, and that's where we sit right now, 20 degrees warmer compared to this time yesterday. What a difference a day makes. That goes without saying at this point. Temperatures will fall through the 20s and end up in the mid-20s to start off our Friday morning. Maybe a few clouds around tomorrow. We'll call it variably cloudy skies, but I don't think that those clouds will produce any rain or snow showers. In fact, we're staying dry for most of the rest of the month of December and the rest of 2019. We could call it that. More on that in just a bit, though. Right now, let's take a look at your first alert traffic update. Park Street and the Beltline not looking too bad in either direction right now. No major accidents or incidents to report across Dane County. Traffic generally heading out at the posted speeds, but we are starting to see those backups on the Beltline. Right now, 12 minutes eastbound Verona Road to John Nolan Drive with an average speed of around 20 miles per hour, and some other routes in and around Madison not looking too bad. Westbound Middleton to Sauk City on 12. That's 16 minutes with an average speed of around 60 miles per hour. That is your first alert traffic update. Coming up in just a few minutes, we will talk about that dry, mild stretch of weather on the way and when we may need to break out that umbrella once again. I'll see you in a few.
All right, we'll check back in a little while. Thank you, Dave.
Nurses with the University of Wisconsin Health System have announced today they are forming a union.
They're asking the hospital to voluntarily acknowledge them and say they won't stop fighting until it does. Amy Reed is here now with why nurses say this is a patient safety issue, Amy.
Yeah, since Act 10 removed the union that the nurses did have, many say they've seen factors that play into patient safety go down. They say there are often not enough nurses working for the amount of patients they have, and that can lead to unintended consequences in patient care. They said this move will hopefully give them a seat at the table to talk about those staffing levels.
When our union was taken from us, nurses lost a seat at the table and our right to advocate for our patients without fear of retaliation or intimidation. Some of the things I loved most about UW, the mutual respect, the collaboration, the support, have all faded in recent years.
Though they lost the union in Act 10, as long as the hospital says it's okay, they can unionize. They're hopeful they don't have to come up with an alternative and that the hospital board will just say yes. Now, we've reached out to UW Health for comment. They haven't gotten back to us yet. We hope to hear back soon.
And we will certainly update folks on that when we do. Thank you, Amy.
Thank you, Amy. A former Madison police officer faces criminal charges, including repeated sexual assault of a child, child enticement, and misconduct in public office. 56-year-old Morris Reed was arrested in Florida yesterday. He left Madison's police force in 2013. Members of the city's Special Victims Unit have been investigating Reed since July, when a woman told detectives that Reed enticed her into a sexual relationship. She told investigators the misconduct started in 2009 when she was 15 years old and lasted several years. She says it happened in numerous locations, including a squad car, adding that she was threatened and at times confined, including being placed in handcuffs. Police say they did not know of these crimes until the victim came came forward.
A new study shows that schools across the state are fueling the biggest annual increase in property taxes in the last decade. That report finds tax levies from Wisconsin school districts added up to $5 billion in property taxes this year. That's a 4.5% increase from last year. A spokesperson with the Wisconsin Association of School Boards says many districts are taking advantage of the increased revenue limit in the state budget. On Capitol Hill today, the focus turns to the Senate after the House of Representatives has impeached President Trump.
Senators will hold a trial now to decide if the president will be removed from office, an unlikely scenario given the makeup of the Senate. Skylar Henry breaks down what's next from Capitol Hill.
Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell met with Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer Thursday afternoon as negotiations begin on how a Senate trial will proceed after the House impeached President Trump.
The Senate must put this right. We must rise to the occasion.
Democratic and Republican senators differ on how the trial should be conducted. Republicans want it to be quick. Democrats want more witnesses and testimony.
McConnell has ranted and raved, but he hasn't had a single direct answer why there shouldn't be witnesses.
First, the Senate must get the 2 articles of impeachment from the House approved Wednesday night.
Article 2 is adopted.
House Speaker Nancy Pelosi has not made clear when that will happen.
The next thing for us will be when we see the process that is set forth in the Senate. Then we'll know the number of managers that we may have to go forward.
The House voted along party lines to approve the articles of impeachment. Every Republican voted no. All Democrats voted yes, except 4. One of them is New Jersey Democrat Jeff Van Drew.
Jeff will be joining the Republican Party.
He met with President Trump Thursday in the Oval Office.
It doesn't feel like impeachment. And you know what? It's a phony deal. And they cheapen the word impeachment. It's an ugly word, but they cheapened the word impeachment.
President Trump personally wooed Van Drew before the vote. He's facing a tough re-election fight in a district the president won in 2016. Skylar Henry, CBS News, Capitol Hill.
The Senate trial had been expected to start in early January, but the timeline may not be clear until the House delivers the articles.
7 out of the 15 Democratic candidates for president will take the stage tonight at Loyola Marymount University in Los Angeles. Now, Joe Biden, Bernie Sanders, Elizabeth Warren, Pete Buttigieg, Amy Klobuchar, Tom Steyer, and Andrew Yang. They will all be participating in the last debate of the year, which is happening in the heavily Democratic state of California, one of the biggest targets for the primary season.
The field's dramatically narrowing down, so you'll get more time looking at each candidate.
A CBS News Battle Tracker poll shows even though Democratic voters overwhelmingly do support impeachment, they want to hear more about the candidates' plans to beat President Trump. While the Democrats preach diversity, the debate will not feature a Black or Latino candidate for the first time in this election cycle. Cory Booker, Tulsi Gabbard, and Julian Castro all failed to meet the fundraising and polling thresholds needed to qualify. Also absent tonight, former Massachusetts Governor Deval Patrick and former New York City Mayor Michael Bloomberg, who joined the race late. The debate starts at 7 p.m. over on CNN.
2 people are recovering tonight after a shooting at an elderly apartment complex in Rhode Island. Officials say it happened at Babcock Village Apartments in Westerly, near the state line of Connecticut. The 66-year-old male suspect was found dead in his apartment from a self-inflicted gunshot wound. All of the victims were women.
As we prepare to close out 2019 and inch a little closer toward the new decade, one of the leading politicians at the state capitol says prescription drug prices are still a real concern here in Wisconsin. Political reporter Amy Reed sat down with Assembly Speaker Robin Vos to reflect on the past year and look ahead to 2020. Vos says he is working on a bill he plans to introduce this spring that would help control the price of essential medicine. However, he wants to be careful not to prevent medical innovation that could be paid for by drug companies.
I don't want to stifle medical innovation and cures for diseases that people suffer with who are watching this program, while at the same time
We will have much more from Speaker Voss coming up tonight at 5 and 6.
In Rock County, a 1 million square foot Amazon warehouse is officially coming to Beloit. City officials say a property at the southeast corner of Gateway Boulevard and Collie Road will be the site of the new development. A final approval was passed last night. Officials say they plan to announce in January how this will impact the city's economy. When we come back, Charlotte Deleste will join us with this month's top-notch teacher.
And we will pay a visit to Our Lady Queen of Peace School with Charlotte on Madison's west side there when Live at 4 continues.
Well, Christmas came early for an 11-year-old boy in New Jersey.
This may be my favorite story of the
Yeah, I
day.
agree.
It all happened when he told seniors at a care center what he wanted for the holidays. Members of the Oak Valley and Pine Acres Elementary Schools chorus sang carols to patients at the Atrium Post-Acute Care Center in the city of Woodbury yesterday. Now, some students also got to share their Christmas wishes. That includes 11-year-old Mark DiTizio, who got an immediate response.
Most for Christmas is to see my brothers in the United States military.
Oh,
that is good stuff.
Makes me cry.
I know. Every time. Mark's older brother, Eric Shaw, made his first trip home after 7 months of Army training, surprising his little bro. Private Shaw plans to spend 17 days home with his family and friends, and then it's back to Arizona so he can complete his military training.
Oh, it's so wonderful.
Well-deserved couple weeks off for him. So puppies spread so much joy to their owners and others like me.
But I don't want to be Debbie Downer here, but the Center for Disease Control is warning that some puppies may be spreading illness as well. The CDC is warning of an outbreak of drug-resistant Campylobacter infections that are spread from puppies to people. They've identified 30 cases across 13 states. At least 4 people have been hospitalized. No one has died, but doctors say the symptoms are very unpleasant.
It's a bacteria that, for lack of a better word, sets up camp in the GI tract.
It can cause an illness characterized by nausea, vomiting, abdominal cramps, diarrhea, which can sometimes be bloody, and it can last several days.
Now, most of the infections have been linked to puppies from pet stores, including the Petland chain, where several employees have gotten sick. Doctors say don't let dogs lick your mouth because puppy kisses can be cute, but they may also be hazardous to your health. An all-time high finish on Wall Street today as investors looked beyond impeachment news. The Dow was up 137 points, the Nasdaq was up 59, and the S&P 500 was up 14. Well, there's something to be said about loving what you do.
Charlotte DeLeste is here to introduce us to a special top-notch teacher today.
Hello. Well, good afternoon to you both. I think we all understand that not everybody can be a teacher, and there is a woman at Our Lady Queen of Peace School who is meant to be one, and here's why.
Good afternoon. Today we are on Daily Word Problem 54. I have been on a school calendar my entire life.
A calendar Katie Aspinwall has shared with hundreds of kids in the Madison and Milwaukee areas.
But my entire career, I have never said I have to go to work. It's always I get to go to school.
3 years ago, Mrs. Aspinwall retired. She went back to school to become a CNA, but realized she missed the old school calendar too much.
Oh, it was absolutely my calling. I know that 100%. It was absolutely my calling.
Now she's spending her 40th year teaching 5th graders at Our Lady Queen of Peace School in Madison.
I'm teaching social studies, I'm teaching math, I'm teaching English, I'm teaching spelling, all these different subjects.
Subjects that matter, but not as much as this.
You have to have fun. You have to walk through these doors every day knowing that your day is going to be full of laughter and full of fun. And of course, there are going to be challenging days. We all have them.
And when things just don't add up, she pulls out this unsuspecting shoebox of saved cards and letters from past parents and students for the kick she needs.
Dear Mrs. Aspinwall, thank you for the notebook and pens. When I start to understand a math formula and what the problem is asking for, the problem becomes a fun activity for me. And I think that you really helped me improve. When I do have a difficult day, I go home and I open them up and I read them and I realize that's why I am in education.
She's in education because of them, all of them.
I care deeply about each and every one of them. They touch my heart.
80.
They collaborate so well together, and they know we sink or swim together. I mean, the makeup of that classroom, those kids are together for a reason. I believe that. I believe they're together for a reason.
Which makes Mrs. Aspinwall really excited for what lies ahead, which does not include retirement.
I'm not even thinking about it. It's nowhere in my near future.
Mrs. Aspinwall, congratulations, and thank you for doing what you do every day. If you know of a teacher who is top-notch, tell me about him or her. Nominate them at channel3000.com. Click on the News tab, then Education tab, and you'll find top-notch teachers there. So when I told her that she was selected as a top-notch teacher, she cried.
Aww.
And I asked her, I'm like, why the tears? And she said, the fact that someone was appreciating me and noticing the work that I was doing.
No, I'm gonna cry. Stop it.
No, she is just amazing. 40 years and she's still gonna go.
Yes, and it's so true. Not everybody can be a teacher.
No.
It's not a job. It's a calling.
It really is.
Yeah,
And not
definitely.
everybody gets to find their calling, too. It's just so great to see someone in that zone.
She is exactly where she needs to be.
Congratulations.
Amazing. Yes, well deserved.
Thank you, Charlotte.
You're
Good to see
welcome.
you.
And we'll be right back.
You're watching News 3 Now, live at 4.
All right, take a look at this.
We wish you a Merry Christmas. We wish you a... Oh, she's peed on my ear.
I'm glad he laughed about it, too. A little boy tries to spread some Christmas cheer until, you know, something rains on his parade. Dawson is singing his heart out when he gets a wet puppy surprise.
Aww.
You know, being the performer he is, though, he just laughs it off, finishes the Christmas song. His family breeds Australian Shepherds. I was wondering why he had so many cute puppies around him in Utah. These puppies are from their most recent litter.
Oh, that is priceless. And that's boys for you. A little pee on the hand. Who cares?
And the dogs are
Change
cute enough. It
eventually.
cancels each other out.
Exactly. It's good to have you back in the nice weather following.
Thanks. Well, yeah, I mean, a little bit of me, a little bit of Mark, maybe coming back from the cruise. But yeah, it's going to be pretty mild as we head closer to the Christmas holiday, and temperatures in the 40s for really the foreseeable future. We'll talk about that. Plus, when we might get some rain or snow or anything falling from the sky in your first look forecast in just a few pups. Good afternoon. Hopefully you had a great Thursday. Definitely warmer on this Thursday compared to where we were at this time yesterday. And in fact, we're taking a walk on the mild side all the way up to Christmas Eve and Christmas Day when temperatures stay in the 40-degree range for highs. And then we're dry during that period as well. So the umbrellas can have a nice break before the holiday. We might need them again late on Christmas Day when a few raindrops may come our way. So here's a look at the upper air pattern. This usually gives us a good sense of what temperatures will be where we all live on the surface of the earth. Sort of what comes up must come down in essence. Not that simple, but it's a good way to think about it. So you can see the greens returning to the map. This is mild air that will be with us this weekend into the start of next week. And while we will get a little bit bit colder after Christmas Day. We get back into the 30s for highs. Notice what you don't see on this map. Sometimes that can make all the difference. We don't see those deep purples and the whites. That is that cold air, and it's staying to our north, sort of where it should be for this time of year. And again, really not seeing any major cold snaps on the way. Winter begins in just a couple of days on Saturday at 10:19 p.m. to be exact. The least amount of daylight, only about 9 hours, and those days start getting longer from here, so it won't really feel all that much like winter, feeling a little bit more like fall, in fact, as we get into the weekend and the start of the official winter season. Look at these temperatures, folks. For highs, we're talking about temperatures close to 50 degrees as we start the days leading up to Christmas there. 47 on Monday, 45 Tuesday, and even as we get into the 30s once again, we're nowhere near normal. In fact, I think that we'll see above normal temperatures pretty much every day to end the month of December. It will be a little interesting to see what happens closer to New Year's Eve, but for the next week to week and a half, we're not even going to get close to that normal temperature line. We're going to be well above it. Madison, the WISC-TV Skycam, still looking at those mostly sunny skies. Today's high 34 degrees, about 5 degrees above normal for this time of year. 37 the high in Janesville, 34 in Waukesha, 37 in Monroe as well, and 38 in Platteville. Temperatures right now are in the 30s across Dayton County and Madison. Janesville at 37 still, and 35 in Platteville. Just a little bit warmer than yesterday, right? We barely even noticed it at all. No, we're talking about temperatures about 20 degrees warmer compared to this time yesterday. On future track, we're going to stay pretty quiet from a precipitation standpoint for the foreseeable future, dipping into the mid-20s, so not too bad to start off our Friday. Then highs right around 40 degrees for tomorrow. We'll have some clouds here and there, but I don't think they'll be productive. I don't think we need to worry about rain or snow showers anytime soon. And then plenty of sunshine comes back on Saturday with those highs in the low 40s. But we're, again, close to 50 degrees by the time we get to Monday with plenty of sunshine as well. Tuesday and Wednesday for Christmas Eve and Christmas Day, we're looking at temperatures still staying in the 40s, and we may get a little bit of a disturbance in the atmosphere. Everything's staying pretty quiet for the first half of this 10-day forecast. Wednesday night, for Christmas night, I guess we could call it, we are talking about the possibility of a few rain showers. A few snowflakes may mix in at times Wednesday night and Thursday morning. Not expecting major impacts there, and not expecting really any of that to accumulate. Temperatures are just going to simply be too warm as we end 2019 and end the month of December to really have any measurable chance of getting a white Christmas or any real chance for accumulating snow as we end the month of December and say goodbye to 2019, which is pretty remarkable.
No big travel troubles probably with that rain.
Exactly.
And so that'll be great.
Yeah, and that is important because of all the travel troubles around Thanksgiving.
Right.
We can definitely take a few breaths there and say, all right, we're good, and Santa should be good as well.
So, I was just going to say
Santa,
that.
I'm giving you a good forecast. Where's my presents?
There you go. Nice.
This is a
good
gift
one
in
right
December.
there.
There's plenty of winter left to come,
Yeah,
so let's
exactly.
just enjoy it.
Yeah.
Sure.
All right, thanks a lot,
Thanks, Dave.
Well, it's a busy weekend. It will be of holiday celebrations.
Josh Spreiter has a look at some of the things going on this weekend in the 608.
Susan and Danica, holiday music, theater, and dance performances fill the weekend in the 608. First, Madison Ballet and the Wisconsin Chamber Orchestra team up again to bring their beloved production, The Nutcracker, at the Overture Center for the Arts. Some 150 dancers portray the Sugar Plum Fairies, Mouse King, and a host of tin soldiers around a 25-foot-tall Christmas tree and dance to the classic Tchaikovsky score. The Nutcracker opens Friday with performances through the weekend and the following weekend. A different but no less festive version of the Nutcracker is also slated for Friday night at the Majestic Theater. For Darren Starud's Nutcracker Spectacular, the Madison Jazz Orchestra leader will preside over Duke Ellington's arrangement of the Nutcracker and feature Madison jazz singer Megan Morin. The seat event is complete with holiday cocktails, and it's a fancy night out on the town. Another seasonal highlight is Handel's Messiah. This year, however, the classic gets a graceful modern makeover from Madison's newest dance company, Magnum Opus. This elite group of 10 dancers will perform its full light ballet performance to the familiar score on Friday night in the play circle of the Wisconsin Union Theater. For a lighter and more family-friendly outing, consider Alice in Pantoland, a silly theatrical mashup of Alice in Wonderland and Peter Pan. See Tinker Bell fraternizing with the Cheshire Cat when Wonderland and Neverland collide. Cheering and booing is encouraged as the cast requests that all attendees leave their maturity at the door. Alice in Pantoland opens Friday with performances this weekend and next at the Bartell Theater. We'll keep you updated on the latest headlines and weather on News 3 Now this morning, tomorrow, and over the weekend. And for more of the best in the Madison area, check out this month's issue of Madison Magazine.
Josh, thank you so much. There's more at 4 when we come back. A warning for parents this holiday season.
If you are shopping for toys for your kids online, buyer beware. Counterfeit products are flooding the market, and many do not meet safety standards. We'll have that story when Live at 4 continues. Boy, it looks a little hazy downtown today.
Take that, Mark Kane, on your cruise ship. Look at our sunset.
It is really nice
It's
out there, though. Beautiful, nice, clear day, and it's going to get warm through the weekend. Many parents are going online to find those last-minute holiday gifts for the kids.
But Errol Barnett found that some of the toys you find online could actually be dangerous for kids.
This is looking good.
Aaron Muderich, founder of Crazy Aaron's Thinking Putty, says in a business dedicated to fun, dealing with apparent knockoffs sold online is anything but.
It's sort of like a game of whack-a-mole. You hit one down and another one comes right back up.
Muderich says after he put his products up for sale on Amazon back in 2010, similar products quickly followed.
This is all of the different product that we found in the market that looks surprisingly like Crazy Aaron's Thinking Putty.
Why does this make you so angry?
Every single one of our unique products goes through a litany of safety testing.
His biggest concern? Cheaper versions of his magnetic putty which use magnets that are not in line with US safety standards. Safety experts use this tube to check if pieces are small enough to create a choking hazard. While Muderich's magnets are too big to fit inside,
doesn't fit.
This magnet from a product purchased online
fits right in.
Small magnets, if they're swallowed, they can really just cause a lot of problems in a child's digestive system.
We purchased 4 products from third-party sellers through Amazon and had them tested at an accredited lab. According to that lab, all 4 samples failed safety tests. This wooden jigsaw puzzle, marketed for kids as young as 1, included small objects that could be a choking hazard. These trucks broke during testing, exposing sharp points. These flashing LED rings separated, exposing the battery component. And the magnetic putty, once advertised as Amazon's choice, contained a hazardous magnet stronger than what US safety standards allow. In a statement, Amazon wrote, quote, "Safety is a top priority. We require all products offered in our store to comply with applicable laws and regulations and have developed industry-leading tools to prevent unsafe products in our stores." They go on to say that when a concern arises, they move quickly to protect customers and work directly with sellers, brands, and government agencies. The Toy Association says parents shopping online should look for reputable sellers they know.
Dig into the product listing a little bit deeper, look at the reviews, and look at the product description for typos and grammatical errors.
Now, we tried contacting the 4 companies which listed the toys we tested, but we only heard back from the company selling those toy trucks. And it told us its products meet safety standards and passed US safety tests from a lab in China, but it did not test for all the defects found by our lab. An Amazon spokesperson told us it is investigating the products in question. Errol Barnett, CBS News, New York.
Yeah, you always have to read the reviews and do a lot of homework.
Well, and a lot of those are maybe cheaper, more affordable for folks, so it's hard to say no to the price difference, and then they come and...
You'll be buying toys soon for your new nephew.
I know. He's so cute. It's fun to buy clothes. Well, and we want to buy toys for him, too. But he's a little teeny
just
for
a
that.
little newborn, right?
Yeah, he just doesn't know what to do with his arms yet, so let alone his hands or anything else.
It gets better and better. When we come back, we'll have a conversation about chronic pain.
Specifically, we want to talk about managing the pain without prescription painkillers. The director of the pain management program at UW Health joins us with the latest research into alternatives to opioid use. That's when Live at 4 continues.
For consistent, reliable storm tracking, watch First Alert Weather.
Good afternoon. Here is your first alert traffic update. Slow go in both directions right now on the Beltline at Park Street. Traffic moving pretty slowly at the present time, but no major accidents or incidents to report, which is good news. And we can see those delays are really showing themselves right near that Park Street exit on both sides of the Beltline. But we are noticing delays on the eastbound side all the way up to about Southtown Drive. But look at this, going all the way back past Verona Road, closer to Monona Drive. So definitely that eastbound side is going to cost you some time. Right now, 31 minutes from University Avenue to the interstate with an average speed only around 25 miles per hour. Some other routes in and around Madison. Southbound Sun Prairie to downtown on 151, running a little bit tardy at 7 minutes, average speed of around 25 miles per hour. That's your first alert traffic update.
All right, Dave, thanks so much. A toy maker in Pennsylvania is introducing its first female soldier figurine. And now the company's owner says the demand for them is going through the roof. BMC Toys in Scranton is one of the nation's largest makers of little green army men. And the owner says, well, it was a no-brainer to expand the line, which will soon include 12 figurines of women in combat. The first full line of female soldiers is expected to be available for Christmas next year.
It's a great idea.
I love that.
It's proven that positive self-talk can be a powerful tool, but a new study shows that it can even help kids with math. Dutch researchers looked at 212 children between the ages of 9 and 13, asking them how competent they felt they were at math. Days later, the kids took the first half of a math test, and the kids were then randomly assigned to talk to themselves with statements like, "I will do my very best," before completing the second half of the exam. Well, the kids who took part in the positive self-talk had improved performance compared to those who didn't. Very interesting. Self-talk focused on ability, like, quote, "I am very good at this," didn't have the same effect. Other studies show that positive self-talk can also improve kids' performance in sports. Interesting.
Super interesting.
The opioid epidemic continues to be a public health crisis, of course, but for people living with chronic pain, they need help and solutions.
Doctors are researching alternatives to opioid prescriptions by exploring pain management strategies that include fewer or no opioids at all. Dr. Ala Abd El Sayed is the director of the pain management program at UW Health and an expert in chronic pain management. He is here joining us today.
Dr. Al, as you're affectionately known at the UW. Welcome. Good to see you.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Of course. Yeah. So let's talk about, I think first, when did you see this problem in the field as becoming something that you knew you needed to do something about?
Actually, since 2014, when I came to University of Wisconsin and we saw the whole situation of Wisconsin and surrounding states of increased mortalities due to opioids, it's actually probably the biggest killer in the United States. And then when we started looking for alternatives to treat pain other than narcotics and opioids.
And what are some of the alternatives to opioids?
So there are other classes of medications, and there are non-pharmacologic modalities which actually proven to be very effective, like mindfulness and behavioral changes, nutrition, going on healthy lifestyles. And for patients with resistant pain, we do also very novel interventions and body implants to help improve pain.
So there are different kinds of pain. Like, for example, this time of the year, this is an appropriate subject because people are slipping and falling on the ice. The wintertime is treacherous. In a situation like that, opioids may be appropriate, right? But it's for chronic pain where it's a more serious issue.
That's completely right. So we need to distinguish between acute pain and chronic pain. So falling on ice, having a surgery, being in an accident is an acute pain, where sometimes we need opioids to treat the acute pain for shorter duration. The problem happens when patients continue to use opioids for years for treating chronic pain. That's when we get more I'll say risks and benefit.
Yeah, I imagine you get a lot of apprehension from some of your chronic pain sufferers because they just want it to go away. What do you say to them?
So when we look at the evidence and literature and science, there is no strong evidence at all to support the use of opioids in chronic pain and for many years, but rather we have literature and statistics to show harm more than benefit. Although there are other modalities, as I mentioned, non-pharmacologic and pharmacologic interventional modalities that show more evidence by science that they are more helpful for chronic pain conditions.
Are there other kinds of drugs that you can take that are not as addictive or that don't have the same kinds of side effects?
There are many, as simple as over-the-counter medications, non-steroidal anti-inflammatory drugs, the acetaminophen, and then we go to the antidepressants and anti-seizure medications, although patients get confused why they are using them. Actually, they have very good efficacy in certain pain conditions. So these are all alternatives to opioids.
And I know, this is a field that's constantly developing because of the problem. What do you see as the next viable solution? Is there anything you're excited about?
There are too many, actually. New modalities come every year to the market, including new medications and including new research to support non-pharmacologic treatment, in addition to many new technologies like wireless neurostimulation, spinal cord stimulators, intrathecal pumps, and many other, like I'll say, minimally invasive interventions to treat chronic pain.
Is there any way to change opioids themselves so that they take away the pain, but they don't have the addictive properties?
So there are actually products under investigations that have those qualities, like you can't crush them, so you can't use them for recreational use, and there are new opioids working on different receptors than the receptors that the other opioids are working on. So there are products, yep, and I hope we will find some good products that will not be addictive but help pain.
Well, and hopefully those watching that may suffer with this, they can ask their doctors about this now, right?
All the time, and I always tell my patients, maybe we don't have options this year, but maybe next year check. There'll be options.
The pendulum has almost swung to the point we hear often that sometimes people who feel like they need opioids cannot get them now because there's been such abuse of them. So it's encouraging to hear that there is hope and there are alternatives.
There are alternatives. And again, I think we went from one extreme to another. We need to just adopt some neutral approach.
Well, it's a fascinating field of research. Keep up the great work.
Thank you.
Thank you for the work that you do.
Great to see you, and happy holidays.
Yeah.
Thank you. Happy holidays to you. Thank you.
We'll be right back.
Pretty roll playback.
All right, things feeling pretty good out there.
Yeah, especially compared to yesterday, about 20 degrees warmer at this point. So it should be a pretty pleasant evening and really nice sunset there in Madison
shot.
on the Edgewater Skycam. Thank you very much. I had little to do with it, but we're talking about temperatures still in the 30s in many spots, like in Janesville and Madison. Dipped into the upper 20s already in the Dells. I think those lows will head into the mid-20s by the time we get to later tonight. But for this evening, we'll call it mostly cloudy skies and temperatures staying in the low 30s. As we get into tomorrow, there should be some times there, but we're just going to make up some times. So I think that first one is around 7 a.m. By noon, we're looking at temperatures in the low 30s and highs tomorrow close to 40 degrees. I think some of us will come up just short, but still feeling pretty warm at this point. And we're talking about 40s for the foreseeable future into the Christmas holiday.
I'm a fan, except for the lack of a white Christmas, but I think, it happens.
Yeah. All right, thank you, Dave. Here's what's coming up tomorrow on Live at 4. We'll get some holiday cheer in the form of dueling pianos.
And our Michael Bruno takes us backstage to show it what it takes, that is, to produce dinner and a show. We'll be back right after this.